Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're about to get started. If we can find our seats, silence our cell phones like I'm doing. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Monday, the 8th day of April in the year 2024. This is a City Council caucus meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 4 p.m. start. The clock on my cell phone is showing 4:02 p.m. May I have a roll call for the commencement of this caucus? Councilperson Ridley.
Here.
Councilperson Prinzary. Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Here.
Councilperson Solomon is not here yet. Councilperson Gilmore is not here yet. Councilperson DeGise.
Here.
Councilperson Rivera.
Here.
And Council President Waterman. We have 7 council members in attendance at 4:02 p.m. On behalf of Council President Waterman and members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with the New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Public Meetings Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board of the first floor the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2024, and filed in the office of the City Clerk on Thursday, November 30th, 2023. In addition, at its time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, April 5th, 2024 at 4:55 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and local newspapers, and posted on the city's website, so I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Council President, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, President Waterman, members of the council. I have 7 items, and Director Shea had called me about an hour ago. He's tied up in a litigation hearing, and he asked me to present one on his behalf. His resolution is Resolution 24-251, 1044. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Armchair Wholesalers Incorporated, a federally licensed firearm dealer, to provide 37 Glock Model 45 9mm handguns with optic sights and frame-mounted flashlights and enhanced security holsters in exchange for various weapons possessed by the Emergency Services Unit, which are no longer needed. With the pending opening of the Public Safety Training De-Escalation Center, an analysis was conducted as to the weapons stored at the ESU Armory, many of which were not applicable to enhanced tactical training ESU officers presently receive. On evaluation of these weapons, we had an estimated value of $43,970. The acquisition of these weapons will ensure uniformity to the caliber of the weapons carried by all members of the Emergency Services Unit and provide enhanced accuracy and gun retention capabilities.
Greg, do you agree with giving up certain areas of weapons?
I do, Councilman. I was part of the committee that was reviewing these.
I mean, both of us were in the police department and we know how things go. I mean, is this a good deal or is
Yes, it is. It's a very good deal. We had many weapons there, Rich, as far back as old revolvers. Many were in an unrepairable or non-workable state. Right now, with the training that the ESU officers, they receive more enhanced weapon trainings than the regular rank and file. However, that will change once we open up the new training facility, which is scheduled for the 15th, if all goes according to plan. So it was a fair analysis and a fair trade.
all right? Is your thing? Why is this thing down?
Okay, moving on to mine, we have Resolution 24-263, 10.56. Resolution will authorize award of a contract to Millennium Communications for the maintenance, network, and IT Cisco SmartNet coverage on the New Jersey state contract. The total cost of this contract is $75,576.12 and is covered under the DPW operating account. Next one is 24-266, 1059. Resolution will authorize the award of a contract to Cambria Automotive Companies through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the purchase and delivery of a Mack GR64BR water tanker, replacing a previous truck which is no longer operational due to age and condition. Purpose of this tanker will be used for transporting potable water and fire suppression. Total amount of the contract is $198,073 and is funded through the DPW capital account. Next is Resolution 24-267, 10.60. Resolution will authorize renewal of an open-end contract to Trushin Towing and Recovery for light and medium city-owned vehicles towing services. Total amount of the contract shall not exceed $21,816 with a temporary encumbrance of $5,000. Resolution 24-268, 1061. Resolution will authorize the award of an open-end contract to United Ford LLC for light auto repair services not covered under warranty through the Sourcewell Cooperative for the DPW Division of Automotive Services. Total amount of the contract is $40,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $7,500 and is funded through the DPW operating account. Resolution 24-269, 10. And heavy truck collision for the maintenance repairs of heavy-duty vehicles Class 5 or higher over 15,000 pounds under New Jersey state contract. Total amount of the contract is $400,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $20,000 and is funded through the DPW operating account. Resolution 24-270, 10.63. Resolution will authorize the award of an open-end contract to Northeast Auto and Truck Parts LLC for the purchase and delivery of fluids and lubricants for the city's fleet through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the DPW Division of Automotive Services. Total amount of the contract is $350,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $10,000 and is funded through the DPW operating account. And the last is 24-271, 1064. Resolution will authorize the award of a month-to-month extension not to exceed 3 months to Amber Air Company LLC to provide HVAC boiler maintenance for city-owned buildings. Contract shall not exceed the sum of $80,000 with a temporary encumbrance of $30,000, which is available in the DPW operating account. Thank you very much.
Council President, before you call the next Director, I just want to record Councilperson Gilmore present at 4:05 p.m. and Councilperson Solomon at 4:08 p.m. So we now have all 9 council members present. Thank you.
Director Baker.
Good evening, Council President, members of council. I have 2 resolutions. First one is agenda, it's 10-43, resolution 24-250. It's a resolution ratifying the award of a contract to Millennium Communications Group for the yearly block hour support contract under state contract for the Department of Public Safety. It is in the amount of $68,000. This is the yearly support and maintenance for the 900 city cameras. Next one is item 10.45, resolution 24-252. It's a resolution ratifying the award of a contract to Safeware Incorporated for radio maintenance repair services through the U.S. Communities Government Purchasing Alliance known as Omnia Partners for the Department of Public Safety, Office of Technology and Communications. This is in the amount of $658,678.42. This is the maintenance, programming, and upgrade of the city-wide communication system.
Okay, last time you were here, I asked you to speak to the director. I asked for figures from the police department. I have not gotten them. I do not have to go through the business administrator. If I don't get them, I'm going outside the city to higher authority to say, I want to know the statistics I asked for. I'm tired of asking for them. And a lot of people, and this council should be aware that we're not being told what the heck is going on. And I'm tired of it. All right. So would you please give them the message? Thank you, Mr. Baker. It has nothing to do with you.
Thanks.
Cindy.
Go to the
Thank you, Council President, council members. I appear before you today on different resolutions. The first is Resolution 24-264, Agenda Item 10.57. There's a resolution to award an open-end contract to Ascape Land and Construction for the maintenance of our irrigation systems throughout the city's park system. I would just note that the title of this award has forgotten to use the term open end, but all the supporting documents and indeed the public bid, of course, did use the term open end. I just consulted with the law department and that title will be corrected just to include the words open end. And the next item that I am before you is another contract that we seek to award. Excuse me, this is Resolution 24-265, Agenda 10.58. This is a contract for fencing, again, through the Department of Recreation and Youth Development. This was a public bid, an open-end contract for fencing and all things that go along with fencing across the city.
Question, Lucinda, with regards to that fencing contract.
Yes, Council.
So, there's some facilities, right? That I'm just speaking about baseball because that's, what I know, right? Backstops on the baseball. There's some backstops throughout the city, right? That have the big chain link fence as opposed to the small chain link fence, right? I think we need to make sure if we can look at that real good because the small chain link fence is the very expensive one. And there's parks that have the entire park small chain link fence where that should only be for the backstops. And the rest of the field could have the big chain link fence.
We will certainly try to take a look at that, Councilman. What we also did with the fencing contract this year, because we had it on the third iteration. But what we did this year is we added in some materials to that, like privacy screens, things that we use as a city that are now built into the contract. So we have some set prices. So we are continually trying to make sure we're ahead of the issues on the fence and noticing where the expensive fencing is makes sense, Councilman. So we'll keep our eyes out.
Thanks.
Lucinda, hold on. You have any further information about the Persian Field ice ring?
I do not personally have more information, but I'm expecting to learn some additional facts this week, Council.
What do you know about this downtown where they want to extend the Newark Avenue over to another street and spend money on that? I mean, if money's going to be spent on that, some money's got to be spent up at C&D because I'm getting tired of it. And I think Youssef is getting tired of it too. And a lot of things have to be done in Persian Field.
I agree that we have improvements to make all over, Councilman. My first notification about the potential for an additional playground near the pedestrian plaza was by reading an article this afternoon about it. I can only say from a proximity that Van Voorst is, the closest playground there, and it's certainly very heavily utilized by the community. But I'm obviously not in front of council to speak on that today.
All right.
Thank you.
I had a question. This irrigation system, I know, can you just explain for our edification, is this something that's a new initiative or is this something that was previously done by, maybe one person and now you're just outsourcing it so that it's done before the winter sets in?
Great question, Councilman. So the irrigation system contract is actually something that was in place with the parks maintenance well before I came to be. So I've actually been in front of council for the past 2 years to re-up a bid that was done 3 years ago. This was time to do a fresh bid. So what we have is we have not every single park, not every single athletic field, but many of them do have underground irrigation systems. And they're all different depending on when the park was built, what was included, what wasn't included. So there's various different literally underground irrigation systems. Some have drip lines, some have heads that might pop up and, spray out water on a certain schedule. So there's always been an outside contract. Well, always is a strong word, but for at least the past 5 years, there has been an outside contractor supplementing the ability of our city plumbers in that regard. An additional thing that we added into the irrigation contract this year is we made sure that the company coming in to take on the contract was also knowledgeable on drinking fountains, both human and animal drinking fountains, because that has been a really challenging area in our park system from a maintenance perspective. So we are hopeful that by supplementing with a vendor who is knowledgeable in that area, we may be able to hopefully by now address some of the drinking fountain issues that are also evident in our parks.
And I see Riverview Fisk Park is here, the 2 drinking fountains and park irrigation. Would you classify the fountain in the center of the park as part of that irrigation, or is that separate, or?
Separate, Councilman. So those are decorative fountains, of which we have 3 across the city. Last year was the first time that the Division of Parks Maintenance entered into a maintenance contract for the decorative fountains, which are present at Hamilton, Van Voorst, and Riverview Fisk. Although, to be fair, the Van Voorst entity wanted to keep their own sort of fountain on there. So we did engage last year with a vendor called Aquatic Arts, who did a very nice job and actually helping us with some of the splash pad maintenance as well. So we will be re-upping on them. The value of that contract is smaller, so that is not something that I come before council to ask permission to enter into.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lucinda, I have one more question. I'm sorry. Going back to the irrigation system now. So do you guys have a list of parks that get the sprinkler systems through, I guess, water the parks?
Sure. We, of course, know which of our facilities have underground irrigation systems that require maintenance and which do not. If your question is next going to be about Franco Field and Enos Jones, that field does not have an underground irrigation. Hence, when constituents are asking us to make the grass greener, unless Mother Nature herself is paying attention and raining in that area, we don't have that ability at the moment at Franco or Enos Jones.
So serious chest pains just settled into my system now, because there is a huge irrigation system there. So I just want to know, is the landscaping people that we are contracting here, are they going to look at the water pump that's there?
Yes, Councilman. So we asked them to do just that because it's our understanding that the water pump that's tied into the irrigation system currently in place was part of the as-built design, however many years ago that water system and probably whatever upgrades within the past 20 years are made, that irrigation system, from what I have learned, has been living since then. So there's no company that we've been able to speak with can find a pump to replace that circulation system to make that existing system workable at this juncture. So we are in conversations with infrastructure to try to figure out what might have to be done there. But to be very fair, it's not a safety issue. It's not a safety issue. We'd love to have greener grass there, but it is something that infrastructure is aware of, we are aware of, and last summer we tried to figure out if it's something that could be financially within the wherewithal of parks maintenance or if it had to be a bigger conversation. And unfortunately, I don't have a clear answer as to how to remedy that specific system.
And the questions is actually it wasn't specific to Enos Jones or Franco. I was concerned about Persian Field, right? But the concern that I have is because the irrigation system does not work, the turf on the field, we don't have the best turf on these fields. So there's a netting underneath that turf that pops up when it starts drying up. And athletes, children, high school students, they're wearing cleats or rubber cleats. Sometimes that netting gets stuck in that cleat and then it could cause a problem. So I think that if they're not going to fix that boiler, I'm thinking we're going to probably have to re-turf a lot of fields next year.
To have that conversation for sure, Council.
Got it.
Thank you very much, Council.
McNair.
Good evening, Council. I have 5 items to present before you. The first item is 10.35. This is Reso 4242. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to New Pathway Counseling to provide counseling services in connection with the Employee Assistance Program. This is a 1-year period from April 1st, 2024 to March 31st of 2025, not to exceed $72,000.
Next.
The next item is 10.36. This is Resolution 24243. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a competitive contract to Vital Check Wellness for on-site wellness services to eligible employees. This is a new service to employees. It's important to know or to share that we encourage employees to improve their health and well-being. We know that early detection in any medical situation is better. It can avoid, additional medical costs. Vital Check Wellness, the benefits that they have, it's a primary care doctor basically coming to the work site. Yes. So basically just bringing the doctors over to the website. We know that it's benefits to employees because some employees may not have primary care doctors, or some employees may not be able to take off work to attend a doctor's office. So we think it's a great idea to just bring the office to the employee work site. So we're going to roll it out as a pilot program. Vital Check offers a number of services such as preventive care wellness exams, just annual physicals, immunizations, lab work, vision testing. They offer urine and saliva toxicology testing, and also mental health. It is a 2-year contract that starts March 1st of 2024 and ending February 28th of 2026, with an option to renew 3 additional 1-year periods.
Question. Are these physicians that are going to be coming, or are these like nurses and nurse practitioners that are going to be coming here?
That's a good question. These are all certified healthcare professionals that'll be on site.
And where services we render, would they be in HHS downstairs?
So not necessarily. What we want to try, the plan is to try to rotate and have each city building host these services. So we haven't talked about the logistics of it yet, but that is the plan, is to have them rotate at each city building.
So if I'm in DPW and they're not at my site, will I still be able to receive services?
Absolutely.
They have privacy.
Absolutely. That's #1 priority. Any other questions? The next item is 10.39. This is Resolution 24246. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to the Union Labor Life Insurance Company to provide self-funded medical and prescription stop-loss coverage for employees and retirees. The RFP went out twice, and Ulico was the only company that responded. It is a 1-year contract, $6 million based on 5,604 lives under the contract.
What's the contract?
The contract it's 1-year contract, $6 million.
And it was only one bidder?
What?
We went out twice.
It's the same, and it's the same people it's only been this company to bid on it twice?
Yes. They're our current provider. Again, we went out twice, and they were the only company that responded again. First time we only received one responded, and then that's why we put it out again.
How does that occur? Because I do mentoring, and it's 1,000 mentors. Like, I just can't imagine it only being, I just can't imagine any market in a capitalistic society being scarce like this.
Yeah, it's definitely concerning. I mean, I had requested a copy of like a list of vendors who potentially saw the RFP. People looked at them, but they have not responded.
And I'm a bidder.
Okay, and the final resolution is item 10.40. This is resolution 24247. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Task, which is Total Administrative Services Corp., for providing third-party administrative services for retirees, Chapter 375 direct billing, COBRA notices, and flexible spending accounts for the Office of Employee Benefits. I do apologize. I have one more.
Yeah.
It is item 10.37. This is Reso number 24244. This is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a contract with Employee Family Protection to provide the voluntary supplemental benefits. Thank you.
Chang,
Good afternoon, Council President and council members. Immigrant Affairs is presenting item 1023, Resolution 24230, appointing Safia Shadid as a new member of the Immigrant Affairs Committee, replacing Ahmed Shadid, who has resigned. And before you in support is the mayor's March 18th appointment letter seeking the council's advice and consent, and also a copy of Sophia's resume demonstrating her work and volunteer experiences. Sorry,
What do the committee do?
what is that? I'm sorry.
The committee, what are they tasked with doing?
They provide advice on all the issues involving the immigrant community. They provide advice to the mayor and also the council and
Okay,
recommend resolutions in support of the various demographics and immigrant communities and the issues they face.
okay.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Owen,
Good afternoon, Council President, members of City Council. This evening, HHS Food and Nutrition has two items for your consideration. Item 1, Resolution 24253, Agenda Number 10.46, a resolution authorizing the payment of a claim submitted by Whitson's Food Service for providing home-delivered meals in 2022 for the City of Jersey City and HHS Food and Nutrition. Just to give you context, when the pandemic hit in 2020, we had 560 Meals on Wheels members. Within a few weeks, the members went up to 1,400. That increased our financial burden by almost $1 million. So this is the last portion of those claims.
This is just paying the outstanding balance.
Yeah, this is the remaining. We've been working since I took over the position in late 2022. We were almost at $1 million at one point.
I used to work Meals on Wheels during the pandemic. That was one of my punishments right there. Oh, no, they love me. Them seniors love me. Oh, that's why.
go ahead, Cohen.
Next item, Resolution 24254, Agenda Number 10.47. This is the second portion of the claim. These claims, one is for the first half of 2022, and the remaining amount here is for I believe, the second half. So, same situation.
The title needs to be corrected, right, Offer?
Yes, 2022. Thank you.
Joan,
Council President, if I could just give an update on the other correspondence. I just looked up the information on the employee health programming. Councilman, it's 2 medical doctors that will oversee the program, but they'll supplement with nurses for more routine checks. So it will be administered by doctors, and then the nurses will facilitate just routine dietary stuff like that.
Good evening, Council President and council members. I'll be very brief. I have Resolution 24255, 10.48, a resolution authorizing the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services to accept grant funds for the New Jersey Department of Health for the 2024 Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. This year, we are receiving $50 vouchers for 3,000 people instead of 2,500. And they'll be available May 1st instead of July 1st. And they will still be doing the QR codes like they did in the past.
Good afternoon, members of the council. I have 4 resolutions for you today. First, I'm going to start with 10.34. That's resolution number 24-241, and it's a resolution awarding the Community Development Block Grant of Public Facilities for program year 2020, 2021, and 2022 unallocated funds to authorize the execution of a subrecipient agreement with St. Anne's Home for the Aged Corp. For an improvement project that will be located at 198 Old Bergen Road. They are undertaking a window project there. They've been having some major issues with the windows at that facility. So we went out on site, inspected, we reviewed all of our federal regulations, and this is a viable project for public facilities spending. Okay.
Question?
All right, the next resolution I have for you is 10.33. That's resolution number 24-240. And it's a resolution to authorize the business administrator to execute a discharge of the mortgage encumbering 150 Woodward Street in Jersey City. This mortgage was for the defunct HORP program. The homeowner received $10,375 pursuant to the mortgage's terms. It should be indebted deferred payment, no interest mortgage, and upon the end of the 10th year after signing this mortgage, it shall be forgiven in its entirety.
These are not. What program these ones are in? These are not in the 95.5, right?
No, sir. This is called the HORP program. It's the homeowner repair program. At this time, that program is now defunct. It has been rebranded in the office as the Home Improvement Repair Program, otherwise known as the HIP program. The HIP program is not currently accepting applications. We are working off of our wait list. The next resolution I have for you is 10.32. That's resolution number 24-239. And it's a resolution to authorize the business administrator to execute the discharge of the mortgage encumbering 27 Bleecker Street in Jersey City. That program was supported through the GNHP, and that's the Golden Neighborhoods Home Ownership Program. And the owner received $38,915. And pursuant of it being a deferred payment, no interest mortgage. And at the end of the 10th year from its effective date, it shall be forgiven in its entirety. The last resolution I have is 10.31, and that is resolution number 24-238. And it's a resolution authorizing the city of Jersey City to enter into a shared services agreement with the county of Hudson for the provision of rental assistance services. A representative of the law department on 3/28 made a presentation in front of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which they did vote and authorize the allocation of these funds to be sent to the county for the purpose of emergency rental assistance. It'll be a first come, first served program and fully executed by the county on our behalf.
So the funds are coming from us and going to the county?
That is correct.
Why?
The county is in the process of executing their own emergency assistance program. There was conversation in the past that the city would support the county's initiative with some funding, and we are making good on that promise.
The issue that I have with here is that we've had several rounds of funding for our own residents, and everybody who applied wasn't able to obtain said resources. And now here it is, we're partnering with the county. I would imagine that once this money goes to the county, they can disperse it to Hoboken, Caucus, Weehawken, whatever municipality need help at, correct?
So if I could just backtrack a little bit, I just want to clarify the separate pools of funding. So for the emergency rental assistance programming that was conducted by the city of Jersey City for Jersey City residents, utilize funding coming directly from the Department of Treasury Emergency Assistance Program. These funds are coming from our Affordable Housing Trust Fund to supplement what the county is doing, because the lion's share of individuals who are being supported by the county's emergency relocation program are Jersey City residents.
Sorry, if I can just jump in, it says in the qualification of applicants, the city and the county agree to the following qualifications for this money, and it says must be a Jersey City resident. So while the county's administering it, this pool of $1 million only goes to Jersey City residents.
Right, and we approved this as a council last year. We did. Via ordinance. So this has actually been over 6 months in the making from when we approved it for our residents only, to where we were finally able to get it approved by the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Okay.
And as a separate question, so Director, a few folks have reached out to me about CSVG money. I think a few of the nonprofits that are kind of waiting on the money, and I wondered if you could provide an update on kind of the timeline for that.
So CSBG, that's our state grant line that we receive. Our application has been submitted to the state and it is pending us being in receipt. I believe at the last council meeting, the resolution for the CSB dollars was approved by council.
Okay, so we're waiting on the state then?
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Christine?
Good afternoon, Council President, City Council. I have 2 items in front of you. First is item 10.67, Resolution 24-274. This is a resolution authorizing the city to execute an indemnification agreement with Liberty State Park and authorizing the city risk management to issue a certificate of insurance. And that is to cover all of the city's events that happen for 1 year, April to April, inside of Liberty State Park. Next is item 10.68. This is resolution 24-275, and this is a resolution authorizing the city to accept a sponsorship for our Summerfest concert series from the Jersey City Free Public Library. So that's $13,500 that will go towards supporting this series.
Thank you. Cynthia?
Good afternoon, fellow councilmen. I'm representing Division of Injury Prevention, Resolution 24-210, Agenda Number 10.3, a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City to accept a donation from Naya, a restaurant, to help with the food insecurity within Jersey City. They offered 700 food bowls at $12.85 each, valued at $9,000.
Good afternoon, Madam Council President and members of the Municipal Council. I'm here representing the Division of Animal Care and Control. I have 5 items to present to the council tonight. The first one is Resolution 24-256. It is a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Bergen County Community College of Veterinary Medicine and the City of Jersey City Division of Animal Care and Control. This is for us to begin low-cost medical procedures for our residents being done by the students at Bergen County Community College of Veterinary Medicine. My second item is Resolution 24-257. This is a resolution ratifying a professional services agreement between East Orange Animal Hospital and the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services. This is to give us our veterinarian of record, which is required under New Jersey state law. So we have a veterinarian of record who's responsible for everything that takes place at the shelter. This is to authorize that contract.
All right, I apologize, I didn't get a chance to look at it. Is the veterinarian on site all the time or on call, or just how does logistically that work?
The veterinarian of record is responsible for our disease control protocols. He also uses his DEA license for us to order controlled substances to the facility. He is not on site, but responsible for everything that takes place there and of course available for consultation. My next item is resolution 24-258. This is for our traveling vet. It's a resolution to ratify a professional services agreement between Adriana Hordinsky and the Department of Health and Human Services. So this is a vet that comes into the facility and does our in-house spay, neutering, and microchip programming. My next item is resolution 24-259. This is a resolution ratifying a professional services agreement between the Veterinarian Emergency Group and the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services. A requirement of New Jersey state law is 24-hour access to veterinary care. So this is for a nights and weekends off hours agreement for that. My final item is resolution 24-260. It is a resolution ratifying a professional services agreement between Greenfields Animal Hospital, Animal Clinic and Hospital of Jersey City and the Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services. This is for business hours, medical care for our animals. And that is all I have for the council tonight.
I have a question unrelated to the resolutions, but related to the animal shelter. With regards to our MOU with Guttenberg, I know that we pulled that off the agenda. Are we currently still accepting dogs from Guttenberg? I had someone come up to me and thank me for taking their dogs, but
I know we have accepted a dog from Hoboken. If someone has thanked you for us accepting a dog from Guttenberg, I'm sure we have. Right now, we're doing that as a public health courtesy and a good neighbor courtesy. To be quite frank, after my first month at the facility, I do believe we can take on both Hoboken and Guttenberg and not sacrifice the services for Jersey City. I know that's not for this evening, but.
What are you talking about? 8 dogs a year maybe from Guttenberg? I mean, what? That's.
And it's money we could then turn and put right back into the services for our municipality.
But take care of the animals.
I read on Reddit we're at capacity at the animal shelter. Is that true or is that not true?
We are not currently at full capacity at the animal shelter. We have worked out an arrangement to house some animals off-site at K9 Garden, which is where we have taken some friendly animals and put there. We are not currently at full capacity. We are also instituting a very exciting promotion, 24 for 24, where we are adopting out our animals we have that are, of course, adoptable, spayed, neutered, microchipped, and vaccinated. $24 in adoption for the next 24 days in an effort to put some of our animals in homes of our families here, and of course, to always make some room.
Get it out on Facebook. You have these animals and ask people to adopt them.
Sir?
What's the current capacity at the shelter?
The current capacity at the shelter is approximately 35 dogs, give or take that many cats also. We have it, the facility is divided up into multiple areas. There's stray intake, there's adoptable animals, there's a bite confinement area, there's an isolation area for sick animals, and we still have one trailer that we have not been able to use yet because we're waiting for money in the temporary budget to put the kennels into the one area of the facility that we inherited that we had to basically bring down to the studs and start over in.
Oh, what's the number? The number for capacity is what?
Total animals, approximately 75.
How do you say approximately? How many cages are available to put animals in?
There are 36 for dogs, and I'm not entirely sure how many for cats, to be honest, sir. I'm only finishing my 3rd week here.
Yeah. Just send them an email.
Because some people, because like Councilman Saleh was saying, is that some people are saying that we're at capacity, and I don't know what the capacity is, so I don't know if, you know, if information that we're receiving is true, or if people tend to put 1 on 100 sometimes. So I don't know. So that's why I was just, so I can know, all right, we have, I don't know, 70 available, and right now currently 57 is being used, or 50 or whatever it is.
Well, there's often a bit of hyperbole when the public is sharing stuff in the rescue community. We always keep some cages open for evictions and stray animals. So that's why I don't have a definitive answer there on whether we're full or not. Can we take an animal this evening? Yes.
So, circling back to the whole Guttenberg situation, right? We tabled it and we said we weren't going to do the MOU to accept the dogs, but we are accepting the dogs to be a friendly neighbor. So I guess my point is we're taking them anyway and we're not being paid for it. So wouldn't it be better for us to, I guess, sign that MOU and then get some money for it? But then in addition, you mentioned something about a trailer. Do you know how much that trailer is, and can that money be used towards getting that additional trailer?
Yes. I believe we're waiting for around 40,000 to restore the one trailer room that was basically inoperable when we inherited the facility. When I first came on board on March, I was relieved that we hadn't accepted the Hoboken and Gutenberg contracts because I wasn't sure what I was inheriting, to be quite frank, but I think we can do them, and we should.
Take care of the animals.
Okay.
Sir.
You should bring back the resolution, right?
Yeah.
Bring it back, right?
Council, I'll get more information on that one dog, but as the councilman suggested, we did ask to the council did ask to table it for 6 months to get some more data. We're in our 4th month and it looks like we got one dog. So at least for Guttenberg, and then we could expand to Hoboken if there's an appetite.
Bring it back.
Director, I don't have the numbers in front of me from last week, but it looked like there are about 44 dogs adopted already in the past 3 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we have not had, in all of March, we took in 22 dogs. 22 dogs went out. There were 2 that were euthanized for safety. One of them came in with multiple bites and actually attacked the shelter manager trying to work with it. It's not an easy scenario, especially without that extra room being available to us yet. But we're doing good work there already, and we're already saving animals there, Councilman.
And this is the past week that you are on Pet Finder. You were not on Pet Finder until about last week, which is.
Yes.
So those many dogs were already adopted out without social media and everything. So social media will enhance those adoptions. So I know capacity is an issue, but they are cycling the dogs, and I know the dogs more than the cats. I apologize. I'm sure the cats are being, adopted out well too. But I know that the dogs are coming in and out in a healthy way.
And based on the circumstances of taking the facility back from Liberty Humane and operating this ourselves, there's been an air of building the plane as you fly it. We opened and successfully operated an animal shelter, not as efficiently as we could, but we opened and successfully operated an animal shelter. Now we've identified what we would like to institute to move forward for the rest of the year, and we're on a good plan. It's taking shape and time.
Take care of the animals.
Sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Paul,
I think Rich wants to adopt a dog. Once again.
you had to.
Good evening, Council President, Council members. I am Paul Bellenboyer here for 10.72, resolution to pay our annual assessment to the Hudson Regional Health Commission. This is a county-wide commission which provides health services which the municipalities do not. Things like mosquito control, air quality monitoring, and a variety of services which is generally not efficient for any one municipality to do by itself. The assessment is the same as it was last year, and it's our participation fee. Thank you.
Danny?
Any good?
Say what you want. Good afternoon, Council President, council members. For your consideration, I have one resolution this afternoon. It's agenda number 10.1, resolution number 24-208. And it's a resolution authorizing an emergency temporary appropriations. This resolution is necessary for continuation of city services without any disruptions. Any questions? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council President, council members. I am here to present on item 10.71, Resolution 24-278. This is an amendment to the contract with H2M Consultants, who is our consultant for the Historic Preservation Master Plan. This is adding additional funding to accommodate the extension of time that they've spent on this project that was requested by the council and the community, and to accommodate for additional public meetings that have already happened. I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Oh, Maggie, that's your last resolution, right? I just want to ask you a question.
Yes, that's
The
the last.
bank on Central Avenue, which is
Yes.
on Facebook all this week.
Oh, it
They
has
put
been.
that addition on top of
Oh,
a
that is
historic
definitely
building.
not
How did that ever happen?
Rich, it's not approved.
It's what?
That is not approved. That
Oh, it didn't happen?
no,
Oh, okay.
that rendering, I have also seen it on Facebook. I've been sent it many times. That rendering was a result of a conversation I had with an architect 3.5 years ago, when the building went up for sale by Capital One. That project has not been submitted to city planning. It has not been approved by city planning, and in the form presented on the internet would not be supported by city planning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wasn't done.
Good afternoon, Council President, council members. I have 3 items on the agenda tonight. The first one is agenda 10.69, resolution 24-276. It's a resolution authorizing an award of a professional services contract to Meta Architects LLC in connection with preliminary design development, construction documents, all associated with the rehabilitation of Engine 10, Ladder 12 on Halliday Street.
What's the location?
The Halliday Street Firehouse.
Well, how long, if we approve this, how long would that be before we start, getting into the?
This year. I mean, the architect is going to need about 3 months to get the drawings together and the specs. Then we got to get permits and put it out to bid, but seems pretty likely that it'll be this year. We get started and well underway. Okay, second item would be agenda 10.70, resolution 24-277. Resolution authorizing a second amendment to a professional services agreement with Tectonic Engineering and Surveying Consultants, PC. This is in connection with the licensed site remediation professional LSRP work, Environmental Consulting Services, Phase 2, Reservoir 3. And this additional work is just to provide additional investigation, soil sampling, laboratory analysis to continue to satisfy towards the next steps at getting occupancy. Okay, third and final tonight, agenda 10.73, resolution 24-280. It's a resolution awarding a negotiated contract pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-5 to PMY Construction Corporation for the 16th Street Park renovation. As you may know, this project went out to bid twice, and the third time we were allowed to negotiate. We solicited up to, I think, 18 different contractors, and now we're ready to award and move forward.
I was going to ask, do we have any renderings for the 16th Street Park renovation, or is that to happen at a later date?
I can forward those to the council. Yes, have some rendering.
Thank you for your work on this.
No problem.
Finally,
Thank
what
you.
happened?
Mm.
Hey. This been a long time, 16th Street Park. Very long time. Maynard.
It doesn't look like a park. Yeah, it doesn't look like a park, but it's a park.
Yes. Good afternoon, Council President, council members. I have one item in front of you today. It's agenda number 4.1. It's a second reading and final passage, ordinance 24-014. It's an ordinance amending chapter 87 amusement devices for automatic amusement devices. It's just to comply with the state law.
Mike.
Good afternoon, Council President, members of council. I'm Mike Manzella here on the behalf of the Division of Traffic Engineering to present agenda item number 3.5. It's ordinance 24-024, and it's an ordinance supplementing chapter 332 to establish public parking for the McGinley Square Commercial District. This is a parking lot at Fairmont and Boland. It's a 20 parking space lot. Currently available to resident permit parking, and we, working with the McGinley Square City and Councilperson Prinzari's office, identified an opportunity to have public parking during the day and permit parking in the evening to add some much needed parking to the commercial district.
This parking behind the old municipal court, right?
Yes.
So it'll be private in the daytime up to about 6, and then after that, the public parking.
So right now it's only open to resident permit parking holders. But this ordinance would change it to be open to public parking during the day until 7 p.m. and then have overnight resident parking in the evening. Thank you.
Stephen. Stephen. Yeah, chief, if you put chief here, just, I'll be right.
So, council, I asked Chief Jernan if he would come for 3.4. Councilwoman Prinzari, myself, Councilman Rivera. A few months ago, we were concerned about the lithium-ion batteries that are blowing up throughout the city. And we had a big fire on Stegman next to Audubon Park, previously A, now in Ward B, and someone lost their life. So we've been working with the fire department to see what we could try to put in place to make the city a little safer. And our fire department has done a great job with working with us on that. And so the chief is going to present what we've come up with. And we've worked also, we pulled commerce in, we pulled the law department in. So this is where we are, and any feedback that you all have or anything you want to add is certainly welcomed.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Ridley and Councilman Prince, for putting this together. Yep, so this is an ordinance creating Chapter 276, lithium-ion batteries, prohibiting the sale, second-use lithium-ion batteries, creating a lithium-ion battery business registry, and charging regulations for those lithium-ion batteries, and supplementing Chapter 106. This is the fees and charges established. And there'll be a fee for inspections of sellers of these lithium-ion batteries and power mobility devices. I think a lot of people understand now we do in the fire service, the concerns with lithium ion batteries. We've been training and researching on this for a while. We've changed SOPs, our running assignments to meet the challenges that we have with that. So right now, our concerns are, and as you mentioned, we had that one fire, and we started to document that. So I think we have 15 actually lithium ion batteries in 2023. All right. So our priority right now at this moment and concern is the storefronts that now have these mobile devices in them, the bike stores basically, with apartments above those stores. So that's kind of what this is all about, safety of the people that are living above. So we worked on this, and I have Deputy Chief O'Connor here from Fire Prevention, and I have John Tambini, the fire official. We worked on it together, and with you guys that you've been with us along the way. So we've been working on this for quite some time. And I thank you again for putting it out. It makes our guys safe, and it also makes the people in the streets safe. So we recently did have a fire, and I'll just point to the fire that they had in New York City and why this is so important, right? They've had numerous fires in their bike stores throughout the city. One in Lower Manhattan in Chinatown, where 4 people died. And it's exactly what we're talking about. It's having a store underneath the residence above without the proper suppression systems, no sprinklers, right? These fires move rather quickly, very quickly. You know, if you want to educate yourself and go to the videos, you'll see that. So that's what this will do. Okay, and if you read the resolution, if you read the ordinance, you'll see in there the existing bike stores, and this is where you may have people coming to you, will be required to put a sprinkler system in those stores to protect the residents above. Okay, so.
Chief?
Yeah.
Aren't these issues more of a federal issue? Because the federal government is pushing these lithium batteries, these cars with the batteries and everything, and yet there's no control over it. California's having massive problems with this.
Yeah, there's a big push around the nation for that. New York City's pushing very hard for federal regulation. That's part of it. But what we're dealing with right now is what we have. And that's somewhere down the road. But we want to be able to get into those stores and do our inspections to ensure that they're properly charging these batteries. They're not second using these batteries, and that the batteries they have are UL qualified batteries.
Yeah, but it does. You look at all the incidences that have happened with these batteries. I mean, you can inspect them today, and tomorrow they can go off and cause a fire. There has to be a lot more done to this, and the federal government should step up and start making regulations and stop pushing this idea of these lithium batteries.
I absolutely agree. Yep.
And Rich, there is a bill that is now at the federal level. And a couple months ago, the council unanimously voted to encourage our local federal officials to support that bill. So, I mean, all we can do is kind of encourage them to do it, but they're just trying to do what we can from our end. Because we can't, I mean, who knows when that'll pass at the federal level.
It's a shame that people are going to get killed before they act and do something.
Yeah, it's relatively new, the problems we're finding. And, the fire official could tell you, it's not in the code yet. And that's why I feel responsible, and I'm sure you guys do too, for the ordinance to put it in place to help protect our residents in the city.
All right. No, that's a good idea, Chief.
And I just want to give our fire department kudos because they actually did like an all-day training with New York Fire Department. So they went over there, to try to figure out what New York is doing, how we could collaborate. And they've also been encouraging us to maybe possibly change some things in planning, talking to us about EV cars. So I learned a lot dealing with them, a lot of things that I didn't know. So they're really serious about trying to prevent as many fires as we can. And in addition, I know we always have questions about enforcement when we put these laws in place, but the fire department has, committed that they're willing to do the enforcement on these things related to the ion batteries.
I have a question. If, a large apartment building or even a small apartment building, if someone wants to know if where they're storing this battery, if it's connected to a device is safe, are they able to reach out to the department to see if it meets the criteria here? Or how can we sort of provide education to property owners, tenants who might have questions about safe storage?
Yeah, so the first thing that we did was educate our guys, and now it's on the city website now. There's actually a flyer that we put out that the residents could look at on how to charge these things, not at night. You know, no extension cords, all of that kind of stuff, typical stuff's out there. So we're looking to maybe push that a little further. And if, with your assistance, maybe get out to owners, all the owners in the city of the buildings, that they post that in their buildings, multiple dwellings especially. I'll let the fire official talk to you on the actual enforcement.
Okay, hello. So basically, as Chief Drennan was saying, the current fire code does not have anything that addresses lithium ion batteries. The new one that we're going to be switching to in about 2 weeks also does not address lithium ion batteries, and that's going to be the 2018 code. So it'll be years before we actually have any kind of fire code that will allow us to take any kind of action from fire code stance. So with this ordinance, essentially, it's being proactive instead of reactive, you know? So try to get ahead of some of these situations. As Chief was saying, one of the things would be to require sprinkler systems in the commercial spaces. And also, when it comes to locations of storage for these bikes and charging, not in the common areas for multiple family dwellings or in the basement. And the reason being because if there's a fire and you're charging it in the hallway, now people have to run past your bike that's on fire. So can't have it in any common areas. And the basement, because not every basement is finished, so it could light up the floor pretty quickly. And you were asking if they ask for safety. Basically, we would recommend following manufacturer's instructions. And with the ordinance for the commercial spaces, it would be getting building department permits for installation of certain things like the sprinkler system, making sure they have a 1 hour fire rated wall. So that way it buys time for the fire department to get there. The real danger with the lithium ion batteries is once they start, you're essentially putting water on them to cool them down till the fuel is completely burned out. You're not putting it out. You're just trying to keep it from spreading to the next cell. So having sprinklers and just more time for the fire department to respond does help.
And are they, I appreciate both of those answers. That really helps the education piece and the understanding. So just the last question is, if someone does reach out and they're saying, look, I think I'm doing this right, but I'm not, do you guys have, there's struggle for capacity, but do you have the ability to be able to say, hey, I'm able to take a look and see if you're doing it the right, you're storing these the safe way?
Well, they would have to register if they're going to be in a business with this. So we would have to go out there and check out what's going on. And we would basically advise them, I need to see building department permits for the installation of this and just basically make sure that they're following the ordinance.
Okay.
How you doing? Deputy Chief Sean O'Connor. I'd just like to add, when we do have a bike shop fire, there are numerous bikes, numerous batteries in these shops. And we're trying to put some responsibility on the owner to have proper disposal and proper insurance, because like in New York City, the problem they had, one fire, they had over 100 bikes to dispose of. And there was an argument who was going to take care of the cost for those bikes. So it's important for the city to make sure that we cover ourselves for the cost and that the business has the proper insurance to help mitigate that. And this ordinance also helps them require to have a vendor on record for disposal. Because recently, last year, about 6 months ago, we had a fire in the Grand Prix Raceway, and they had the battery, and one of the disposal costs was $17,000 just to get rid of one battery. So it is a large cost, and it's something that we can't absorb as a fire department or the city. So that's another important aspect of this law here. Buying the insurance and requiring a vendor on record. Obviously, we're in the business of saving lives first. And with the city changing and the increased use of micromobility devices, such as e-bikes, e-scooters, skateboards and such, the increase of recreational use, the increase of delivery service, the increase of transportation, these numbers are only going to grow. And unfortunately, as the numbers grow, so will our incidents grow and dealing with such.
Any questions? Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Afternoon, Council President and Council. I'm here to discuss two resolutions. The first of which is agenda number 10.65, which is resolution 24-272. This is a resolution authorizing the execution of Jersey City, doing a notice in lieu of deed notice for SHG Jersey City LLC, affecting 16th Street right-of-way between Monmouth Street and Cole Street. So this basically puts the responsibility of any future environmental, in case there's a need for digging up the soils, it puts that responsibility on the owner. It is an institutional control that we've used similar throughout Jersey City. Any questions? Councilman Bogiano likes my hair. We can put that in the notes, Sean.
Duly noted.
The second one is 10.66. That's resolution 24-273. And that's a resolution authorizing the second and final renewal of an open-ended contract with Power Concrete. This is on call for all of the ADA ramps and the handicap ramps throughout the city. They've done a wonderful job the past 2 years, and we look forward to working with them one more year. All good? Thank you so much.
The shirt. You like the shirt.
Lawrence?
The ponytail.
Good afternoon, Council President, council members. On behalf of Jersey City Economic Development, it's for item number 10.41, Resolution 24-248. This is authorizing the submission acceptance of a contract between Jersey City Economic Development Corp. and Urbanomics to develop our 5-year UEZ strategic plan. This is mandated by the state and the UEZ legislation to be updated and submitted and approved by the authority. This will not exceed $167,500, and it will utilize urban enterprise zone funds. Thank you. Have a good night.
We don't have anybody else. I think we have Director James Carroll.
Evening, Council. I have a resolution 10.38. It's a resolution ratifying an award of resolution 10.38. I'm sorry, resolution 24-245, agenda item 10.38. The resolution ratifying an award of a contract to Caucus Soft Technology. This is our onboarding software for human resources. It's the programming we use for the applicants that fill out their applications, fill out their taxation forms and their identification forms when we are onboarding them to the city. That is a cost to the city of $48,048.68. It's a 2-year renewal option as well. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, going to take it from the top, Council President. On to our first reading ordinances. Item 3.1, City Ordinance 24-020 is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a section of Hudson River Walkway known as Block 14502, Lot 4, formerly known as Block 8, Lot 5, from the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 20, no one's
I can explain it briefly. I think Jason's also here from the JCRA, but there's a small section of the Hudson River Walkway. There's no building on it. It's just a walkway. And about a year ago, a constituent had a bike accident on the walkway and reached out to us because the boards weren't, they were spaced improperly and they fell. And we found out that it was owned by the JCRA, and it felt like it was better for it to come into the city's ownership for the city to maintain, so that we could then go basically fix it.
Yeah, evening, council. Like Councilman Solomon said, it's really just a portion of the walkway that's most part owned by the city. So we kind of just want to make it contiguous and have them take ownership. It's like 0.178 acres. And yeah, it's probably better off that they manage and maintain it.
Can you just identify yourself for the record?
Oh, Jason Friedkin. I'm a project manager at the redevelopment agency.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions on 3.1? All right. On to our first reading ordinance, 3.2, City Ordinance 24-021 is an ordinance granting an easement to the Lyndhurst Board of Education affecting real property owned by the City of Jersey City, known as Block 233, Lot 11, as shown on the official tax map of the Township of Lyndhurst. Next, item 3.3, City Ordinance 24-022 is an ordinance authorizing an amendment to certain dedication agreement among 126-142 Morgan Street Urban Renewal LLC, 134 Bay Street LLC, and the City of Jersey City dated May 28th, 2019 for the certain land and improvement located within the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment area at Provost Street and Bay Street and Morgan Street. Items 3.4 and 3.5 were touched on earlier. On to our second reading ordinances. Item 4.1 was touched on earlier. Item 4.2, City Ordinance 24-015 is an ordinance to codify the planting of native plants throughout the City of Jersey City. Item 4.3, City Ordinance 24-016 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled of the Jersey City Code designated reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. Item 4.4, City Ordinance 24-017 is an ordinance amending the charter of the City of Jersey City to adopt ranked choice voting as a method to elect the mayor, council, and school board, subject to approval of this ordinance by the voters to amend the city charter by binding referendum to be held upon the enactment of the state legislation permitting such charter amendment. Item 4.5, City Ordinance 24-018 is an ordinance naming the Miller Branch Library Cultural Arts Center Auditorium as the Dow David Williams Cultural Arts Center in the honor of Dow David Williams. And our last second reading ordinance, item 4.6, City Ordinance 24-019 is an ordinance amending Chapter 175 Food Handling Establishments and Chapter 242 Peace and Good Order of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jersey City to establish regulations for third-party delivery companies and food delivery drivers. I'm going to leave it to Councilperson Solomon just to go over the amendment that we're going to have at the meeting. I believe the amendment is non-substantial, and we'll have the law department just confirm that at the meeting on Wednesday, but I'm going to turn it over to Councilperson Solomon.
Sure, I actually have a procedural question too on that, but I think I've connected with most of the council members. The ordinance we reintroduced last meeting had some changes in it. Another series of changes were requested. We've made most of those, believe those are non-substantial, and so wanted to add it as an amendment. But we've received more requests for additional time, and we're okay with additional time. So I just want to ask if maybe it made sense to just ask the council to carry it to the next meeting, the 24th. And then if we make further changes, we'll keep everyone updated. But if we don't, then make the non-substantial changes at that meeting. That makes sense.
We can definitely do that, Councilman. So I would say we'll make a motion to carry it without holding a public hearing to the next meeting, so we don't have to hold a public hearing.
Great. All right. Thank you.
So the next item would be the public hearing on the 2024 Jackson Hill Main Street Improvement District Assessment Roll and Budget. And you'll see that there's resolutions that coincide with it. We'll have a public hearing after the second reading ordinances, and then we'll have a regular public hearing with our speakers, which is now at 40. And any questions or comments on petitions, communications, items 6.1 through 6.30? Hearing none, any questions or comments on office communications 7.1 through 7.7? Any questions or comments on reported directors 8.1 through 8.11? Our claims will be delivered tomorrow. I heard from our council control. And on to our resolutions. Item 10.1 was touched on earlier. Item 10.2, Resolution 24-209 is a resolution proclaiming the second Friday in March as Social Emotional Learning Day. Item 10.3 was touched on earlier. Item 10.4, Resolution 24-211 is a resolution authorizing the settlement of a claim submitted by KKF Block 5B Urban Renewal LLC regarding the redemption of a tax sale certificate. Item 10.5, Resolution 24-212 is a resolution honoring the 2024 PACC-AL Women's History Month Awards. Item 10.6, Resolution 24-213 is a resolution honoring Pastor Wendell Rivers of Trinity Church of Living God for the National Women's History Month. Item 10.7, Resolution 24-214 is a resolution recognizing Sandy Guerrero as the first ever National Collegiate Women's Wrestling Champion, individual champion in the history of the state of New Jersey. Item 10.8, Resolution 24-215 is a resolution recognizing the accomplishments of the New Jersey City University women's basketball team record 19 victories for the 2023-2024 season. And items 10.9 through 10.22 are recognizing all of the Shiro Award winners. Moving on, item 10.23 was touched on earlier. Item 10.24, Resolution 24-231 is a resolution appointing Lenora J. Brown as a member of the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority. Item 10.25, Resolution 24-232 is a resolution appointing Mira Prinzeri as a member of the Jersey City Planning Board.
John, there was no resume attached.
Are you sure about that?
I'll make sure you get a copy of that, Councilman.
I could have sworn there was an attachment there, but okay. He might have deleted it, Councilperson Prinzeri. Item 10.26, Resolution 24-233 is a resolution appointing Laura Teresi as Deputy Tax Assessor. Council members, just so you know, this resolution is required from the state. We had John McKinney contact the state Division of Tax Assessors, and this is coming strictly from them. So they didn't like the way we had our first resolution done. So we're doing this to be in compliance with the state. Next, item 10.27, Resolution 24-232 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a license and gift agreement between the City of Jersey City and the Friends of Van Voorst Park to allow maintenance and upgrades to Van Voorst Park. Item 10.28, Resolution 24-235 is a resolution introducing and approving the 2024-2025 budget of the Central Avenue Special Improvement District, directing the city clerk to publicly advertise the budget and schedule a public hearing, and directing the tax assessor to prepare an assessment roll of properties within the district based upon the budget. Item 10.29, Resolution 24-236 is a resolution accepting the assessment roll of the Jackson Hill Main Street Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. And 10.30 Resolution 24-237 is a resolution adopting and ratifying the 2024 budget of the Jackson Hill Main Street Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. These are the two resolutions that I was referring to that we'll be holding a public hearing on. Items 10.31 through 10.41 were touched on earlier. Item 10.42, Resolution 24-249 is a resolution authorizing liens against the properties listed herein for the cost of removing litter, debris, etc., in accordance with NJSA 40:48-2.14, Jersey City Code Section 287-4. Items 10.43 through 10.53 were touched on earlier. Item 10.54, Resolution 24-261 is a resolution ratifying the award of a contract to Dell Marketing LP for Microsoft license renewal under state contract for the Department of Administration Division of Information Technology. Item 10.55, Resolution 24-262 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Millennium Communication Group for the installation of camera on the exterior of City Hall under the interlocal purchasing system for the Department of Administration Division of Information Technology. Items 10.56 all the way through 10.73 were touched on earlier, and I'm going to turn it over to our Corporation Counsel for 10.74 through 10.76.
Sure. We will have confidential memorandum for these three for 1074 through 1076 that I'll provide tomorrow. One of our attorneys is on trial. I'm just grabbing the last one from him. And then we'll have our closed session at 5 o'clock where we'll discuss all of them.
Thank you, Acting Corporation Counsel. That's a nice reminder for everyone in attendance here. We're going to be holding a closed session at 5 p.m. in the caucus room downstairs on Wednesday. So with that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn at 28? Motion was made, I believe, by Councilperson Gilmore. Or did I get that wrong? Okay. And then I worry when you say it that confidently. And then seconded by Councilperson Solomon. On the motion to adjourn at 5:28, all council members in attendance by acclamation, please say aye. We are out of here at 5:28 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone who was in attendance and everyone watching at home. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have a great night. Stay safe. Happy lunar eclipse day, too. Solar eclipse.
Man.